we just talk about this yesterday? Wasn't it just yesterday that I was explaining how pathetically bad the quality of play is in the WNBA? I mean, this couldn't have worked out any better. I describe and offer proof of how bad the quality of play is in the dump. A couple of hours later, in the most high-profile matchup in the league, the Dump Divers, they go out and they prove me right. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link for channel memberships in the description below. Roger Wilhelm, Harold Lumpet, David Salveson. Appreciate you guys signing up to become members last week. If you want to support the channel and join our daily discussions on Discord, click the link in the description below and become a channel member today. Yesterday afternoon, while I was watching Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese on ESPN. Well, KC, don't you mean you were watching the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky? No. 95% of the players on the court were unrecognizable. They have trouble getting recognized at family reunions. Listen to some of these names on the court yesterday. Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, Mary Lou Samuelson, Grace Berger, Christy Wallace, Erica Wheeler. That sounds like the roster for the next season of The Bachelor, or in the case of the WNBA, The Bachelorette. But as I'm watching Katie Rue and the villainous Angel yesterday afternoon, I got to thinking about my New Orleans Pelicans. This is common for anyone who watches games in the WNBA. You turn the game on with the intent of focusing on the exciting action on the court. 5, maybe 6 seconds later, your mind is fighting off the powerful stages of boredom by giving you something entertaining to think about. But if you didn't watch the Pelicans all season and you just looked at the season on paper, you would think it was a successful year in New Orleans. Pels won 49 games this season. The Weasel Willie Green, he has increased win totals each of the 3 seasons that he's coached in New Orleans. Well, calling what Willie Green does coaching is a bit of a stretch. The problems he had as a player in the NBA, it's the same problems that he has as a coach in the NBA. Matter of fact, the Weasel, he's got something in common with players in the WNBA. They both struggle to score points. But anyway, 49-win season. Zion Williamson played in 70 games. I think that's the most games he's played in his entire NBA career. Training staff in New Orleans, they did a phenomenal job this past season. Pelicans advanced to the first round of the playoffs. If Zion Williamson doesn't tweak his hamstring, they have a good chance at giving the Oklahoma City Thunder a competitive series in the first round. Now, to the casual observer, this season was a success for the New Orleans Pelicans, when the truth is, this season was a huge embarrassing failure. And the failure I'm talking about, it's got nothing to do with the Pels getting embarrassed and swept in the first round. It has nothing to do with Brandon Ingram foolishly thinking he's a max contract player when he's really just a high-level role player. Brandon Ingram's value is so low right now, the Pelicans, they can't give this dude away. Not a lot of demand in the NBA for the captain of the bum squad. But the reason this season was a huge embarrassing failure in New Orleans, it's because the product on the court sucked. It sucked. This team was difficult to watch. Roster was poorly constructed. David Griffin filled a roster with one-dimensional players. There would be 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8-minute stretches where this team, they couldn't make a simple entry pass to get the ball into the paint. Bad shooting, no chemistry, lack of cohesion. Don't even get me started with the rotations. The point is, the New Orleans Pelicans, they were offering a bad product. As a result, the upper bowl of the Smoothie King Center, also known as the premier dump in the NBA, that arena is an absolute disaster. But the upper bowl of the Smoothie King Center, it was empty most nights. Matter of fact, when I went to Game 3 of the playoffs, it wasn't even sold out. The product on the court was so bad, the Pelicans couldn't even sell out home games in the playoffs. This is exactly what I was talking about yesterday with the WNBA. The product on the court matters. If you are consistently offering a bad product, people aren't going to watch. Now, I will give them credit for 2 things yesterday. Number 1, They finally seemed to put the drama aside and they tried to make it about basketball. There wasn't any controversy. Chen Carter wasn't given the task of attacking Katie Rue Clark. They put the bullshit aside and they tried to make it about basketball. And number two, the final minutes of that game yesterday, it was exciting. It was exciting. It was a good finish. But the vast majority of the game, it was frustrating to watch. I'll show you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. Like I told you guys yesterday, there are some good basketball players in the WNBA. Angel Reese, one hell of a player. If she stays focused on basketball and quits pretending like she's working as a heel in the WWE, Angel Reese, she might become a fan favorite again. Donna Taurasi, good player. It's impressive that she is still playing at a high level at 41 years old. Caitlin Clark, dynamic player. There's some good players in this league, but the problem is, there's a lot of bad players too. Yesterday, Caitlin Clark, she made a couple of passes that will remind you of Magic Johnson or John Stockton. Most people think of Katie Rue as a shooter, but she's a hell of a point guard too. Late in the second quarter, she gets the rebound on one of the many missed shots by the Chicago Bravado. Takes a couple of dribbles to half court. She fires an absolute laser to one of her unknown teammates. Now in the NBA, this would result in a reverse layup, or the ball would be passed to the trailing big who would make an easy dunk, or as they call dunks in the WNBA, layups. In the NBA, this would be an easy score in transition. What does the same play look like in the WNBA? Watch for yourself.
Yes, she needed the help side defender. Clark bounces ahead. Oh, what a pass!
Was it a difficult angle? Yes. Would you or I be able to make that shot? Absolutely not. But the expectations are different when you call yourselves professional basketball players. The expectations are different when you claim that your league is offering the best basketball in the world. When you make those claims, I am expecting to see NBA caliber basketball, or at least something that comes close to resembling NBA caliber basketball. But that play was nothing unusual in the WNBA dump. Missed wide open layups, that's the norm. That's business as usual. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, Casey, you're just nitpicking. Basketball's a game of errors. There are mistakes and bad plays in every game, even in the NBA. Huh? Yeah, you're right. Basketball is a game of errors. And I would be nitpicking if the same thing didn't happen seconds later. Matter of fact, this next example, it's worse than the one I just showed you. There is this prevailing narrative throughout the woke media that Caitlin Clark is a turnover machine. Her detractors like Monica McDonald at ESPN or the original pooper swooper Cheryl Swoops. Her detractors, they point to the fact that Caitlin Clark leads the dump in turnovers. If you disagree with them, they claim you don't watch the WNBA, which most people don't. But it's true. Caitlin Clark leads the dump in turnovers, but some of those turnovers, maybe even a lot of them, they happen on plays like this. 4 seconds left in the second quarter. The Felines, they are inbounding the ball after a rare made shot from the Chicago Bravado. Caitlin Clark, once again, makes a beautiful pass to a wide open teammate. In the NBA, this would result in a wide open three-point shot, and with the level of talent in the NBA, when someone is wide open for three, they rarely miss. What happens in the WNBA when someone is given the opportunity to make a wide open three? Watch for yourself. KC, you're just selecting two bad plays and using them to claim that the quality of play in the WNBA is substandard, when the truth is this league is great. Oh, really? Really? Do I need to break out the compilation again? Go watch my video from yesterday. I put together, I think it was about a 60-second compilation of what basketball looks like in the WNBA. And I could have made it 60 minutes, but with yesterday being the Sabbath, I decided to be polite. That game yesterday, It was probably the fifth, maybe the sixth game that I've watched in the WNBA this season, and I could show more clips of bad plays from that game, missed shots inside the paint 3 feet away from the basket, players unathletically passing the ball around like it's on fire. Have you noticed that the drama is starting to die down a little bit? Have you noticed the level of attention is starting to decrease just a little? Towards the end of last week, I went 3 or 4 days without talking about the WNBA. That was the first time that has happened in weeks. There was so much news surrounding this league. We were talking about the WNBA every day. Now it's starting to subside just a little bit. Now the focus seems to be shifting towards basketball, which is where it should be. Like I said yesterday, there's going to come a point where the WNBA will have to generate mainstream interest based on the product on the court. You can get away with a bad product for a while. People will tolerate the frustration. They'll laugh at your mistakes and move on. But eventually, you have to get better. Eventually, you have to show that you can play at a high level. My Pelicans struggled to draw all season because the product on the court was bad. NBA set attendance records this year. Pelicans didn't come close. They were frustrating to watch all year. You guys that have been following me for a little while, you know how frustrated I was throughout the season. People aren't going to support a bad product. The WNBA, they have finally gotten the attention they've been begging for. They have finally gotten the attention they feel they deserve. We are entitled to this notoriety, and next we will demand to be paid the millions of dollars that we're entitled to receive. The drama has created interest. Now it's up to you to deliver. Can they do it? Can the WNBA deliver a competent product? And look. It's not all bad. Like I said, there are some good players in this league, but overall, at least to me, the WNBA doesn't offer a compelling product, an exciting product. What do you think? Is the quality of play in the WNBA good or bad? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.